Da, 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 da. Anyways, hello, my name is Fox, and I told Nate I'm Fox. The good thing about me starting to run on a treadmill is that, like, and, like, also, a good thing I found out that we have Netflix again, so that's cool. But, because beforehand, you know, you couldn't share your Netflix account thing, but if somehow we got it sharing again, so I'm not complaining. So I was able to actually just watch Netflix while I'm running on the treadmill. And pretty much, I was like, at first I was watching through My Hero Academia Season 7, and then I was like, you know what? I'm like, I could watch Dungeon Meshi, which is apparently only on Netflix. And then I'm like, wait a minute, I could watch Jurassic Park Chaos Theory. I did for Reverse Season 1, I believe. I don't think I did it for Season 2. No, I know I didn't do it for Season 2. So, yeah, because this is Season 2. And holy shit, I love this season so much. Is this a Bronchiosaurus? I'm not entirely sure. So, like, okay, the dino, like, there's, like, one dino that they use multiple times in this that I think it's a dino. I'm not entirely sure. It pretty much, like, here's, like, 2 or 3 dinos. Like, they look exactly like a Spinosaurus, but without the spine. And I'm like, okay. But this one can move its head. But, I can't remember exactly. Don't you dare fall. But, so, pretty much this season continues, obviously, where the last one left off, where the main cat, I'm going to put Rexy over there. Actually, you know what? I should probably move her back there. Or somewhere there's, you know what? I want to put her. Excuse me, Legos. Miles, move. There we go. I'm not sure if you can see. Yeah, she's right there. But, okay, so it continued where the last one left off, where the crew, pretty much released all the dinosaurs, like, at that one facility. And apparently, like, that one facility got shut down. And also, like, we find out then last one that Brooklyn is alive in the last, season as well. And pretty much the Nublar 5 right now, Nublar 6 minus Brooklyn, are on the crate, are inside a crate going to wherever the broker is. They're not entirely sure where that is, but they're heading that way. But because the ship, like, left an immediate thing, so they didn't get caught by, like, the police or whatever, they're low on staff. At one point, Kenji also, after seeing his dad die and also losing Brooklyn, it seems like he's acting both suicidal, and also, like, he doesn't want his friends to get hurt, so it's kind of like a mix between the two. So, he's doing a bunch of dangerous shit, kind of, I guess, either wanting to get caught or wanting to die, not entirely sure, but those guys go to pretty much, once they actually get caught at one point when, their crate, which they, like, decked out with lighting, they had lighting in there, they had a place to lay, like, what is it? The hammocks to lay down in and all this stuff, and I'm just like, I'm surprised they didn't get caught sooner, especially, like, with that light on, and, like, most of the time, like, outside it was, like, dark and gloomy. I'm like, I feel like someone from, like, up top would be able to see, like, this one, ship freight crate or whatever, just glowing, like, the lights inside glowing, but sure, whatever. But, so they eventually do get caught, but then eventually it's in the middle of a storm, so they're like, you know, you guys need help, we'll help you. They help, and the captain's like, fine. They all start helping, because the ship's kind of going back and forth, they gotta drive through the storm to get to wherever they're going. Crates start falling, they kind of, like, have to, like, hatch them in. I'm sorry they didn't do that beforehand, just, I don't know, maybe it's, like, a structural thing, I don't know. But I feel like you should have had those hatched in, like, a long time ago. Anyways, they, like, lock them in. At some point, for some reason, like, this crate catches on fire, and it's like, what the hell? But also, inside that crate was, like, these are wooden crates, not the big freight crates. They're like, Bumpy's egg was in there, and I'm just like, wait, didn't they take the egg? I was confused on that. I thought they took the egg last season. I didn't think they left it. but I don't know. But Bumpy's egg, they try to get that. They get the case. Eventually, it falls overboard. Kenji's like, "I'll save it." Jumps in after it, like, "What the fuck?" And the Nublar kids get on the raft and leave like the big ship behind, which turns out to be really good thing to do apparently. But they leave it behind. While that's also going on, Ben is like on his phone. And also, they stole a charger that's like solar powered that can charge your phone like instantly. Not is like it'll get to 100%, but like you shine a light for like 2 seconds in the sunlight and it immediately charges your phone like 1%. And I'm just like, that's bullshit. I'm like, if that's the case, yeah, you could just leave it in there for like I don't know, 5 minutes and your phone would be fully charged. Like that's how fast that charger was. I'm like, bullshit, that's bullshit. But in any case, so they charge it up. So anyways, like, but Ben is going through like his phone or whatever, and he finds like the DNL, which like Dino something Liberation. Pretty much they dress up in Jurassic Park raptor masks and they release dinos out into the world. Okay, it's I guess it's kind of what. Actually, is it what this chick is doing in? Is it the third? I think it's the third movie. Where they're like releasing dinos and everything. I guess maybe that was the DNL too. But pretty much they're doing that. They're releasing dinos out, but then it turns out, but then in the video you see, in the production, it's Brooklyn! And then I think the next one we get an episode where we see what happened, that Brooklyn got her arm bit off by the raptor. Ronnie, who was Darius's, we pretty much see everything that like was kind of talked about in the last season, why it happened. Like Brooklyn was investigating, dinosaurs being bought and sold. Brooklyn, was busy with like her talking with like Kenji's dad, or texting at least, when Kenji wanted to take her to see the glow in the dark. Whatever the ducky ones from Jurassic Park from Land Before Time was that. And then like when Darius, we see when Darius says that he likes him, that he likes her, and pretty much Ronnie is Darius's boss, and she also goes by the name Clever Girl, but it's like CL3V3, like something like that. And I'm just thinking like, that's a really funny reference. But also in universe, why does she call herself that? Like, last I'm sure, like, didn't that Hunter in didn't that happen in one of the sequel movies, which I don't know if the original Jurassic Park sequels are canon to the universe still or not. Like, the part where it goes, "Clever girl." I think it might be. But also on that same note, like, who was there to watch that to get that reference to then be like, yes, I will name myself after this. It's like, alright, I guess she could just be calling herself a clever girl. But, but Ronnie's Clever Girl, she's the one that stitched Brooklyn's arm back together. Or arm, she's like, has a nub. Or actually, it's like right up to here. And I'm surprised too, like, they didn't even do like, oh, we're gonna like cover it up or something. And she's like, no, she just has a nub there. I'm like, okay. But pretty much, also Brooklyn has like very Amity-esque hair before she like shaves it off and goes like the Justin Bieber look. I liked her better with the hair beforehand. She had like a Spider-Gwen type of style of hair, which I liked. Which is funny with Darius looking like Miles. But, so, Spider-Gwen, she's just living out at Ronnie's place. They're trying to track down what's happening with DPW, I think it was? I can't remember. Whichever one Darius used to work with. But once, like, Ronnie's second in command busts into her house and then Brooklyn has to hide, she books it, and she pretty much joins with the DNL, I think, I can't remember what the hell it was, to track down, like, where the broker is, going to different spots. Eventually, and, like, it's all run by this one, like, frat boy guy. But, like, it's all a trick because then eventually they find out, like, oh, like, the only, like, there's an airfield always right by these spots. And then also, right by those spots, only one plane ever flies in and out through all of them, and they all go back to Africa. So it's like, that's where we're gonna go. And that's where, well, actually, no, they fly to, I think, Dubai. And then Brooklyn goes to Dubai, tracks down the broker, watches her from, like, across the way, like, across from the entire, like, across from, like, the apartment building, not apartment building, but, like, a condo or whatever, like, across the street, but it's watching her movements. Eventually, she breaks in. The broker's like, I immediately know who you are, but we're gonna play a game. And has, like, I want to paint you. Go and you sit over there with the flowers. Yeah, and then she calls in her raptor. I think it's Atros Raptor, something. I can't remember. It's a raptor. And as soon as she said, oh yeah, that's my raptor, Red. I'm like, God damn it. I'm like, all right, that's smart. I'm like, all right, fine. I want to know, did she actually name that to be, like, an evil version of Blue? I'm like, that'd be kind of cool if that was the case. But, and it's also like those raptors, I don't think it's the exact same raptors, but it's like the raptors in Jurassic World. Is it New Dominion? That was the latest one. Not the one that's going to be coming out, obviously, but, like, the latest one, because, like, the one where, like, they point a laser at someone and they press a button, and if the laser goes green or red or whatever, then, like, the raptor will just chase that thing down to the ends of the earth to kill it. Like, it's pretty much like that, but she has, like, a little pointer thing. Scares the shit out of Brooklyn. Brooklyn calls Ben and says, like, don't find me, don't look for me, just run. Hangs up. She eventually breaks back in the security thing and gets the little clicker thing, uses it on the broker and goes, I actually want to know what you're doing. I want to be your apprentice and something like that. And the broker's like, sure, this is the shadiest shit ever, but yeah, you did the whole, I'm not gonna shoot you, hands the gun over kind of thing. It's like, sure. This isn't gonna backfire. Alright. But, alright, whatever. She eventually, and then while that's all going on, and then eventually they go to Africa, and the broker's like, do you know where your friends are? Like, no, I haven't seen them in years. And eventually they go to the base, and inside the base, they're like, the captain that, like, let the kids kind of take the lifeboat or whatever, he's like, yeah, I got the eggs, I got this, and, you know, you guys, we should go. I can't find anyone else working here, and, like, also, like, all across Africa, dinosaurs are just running around. Now, apparently all the dinosaurs were kind of located specifically in North America, but this, I guess, is explaining how some of them got everywhere else. Because, like, there's all these ones in Africa now, and it's because of this facility. But anyway, so those guys go into the base, and then right over the hill comes the Nublar 6 minus Brooklyn, and also, I can't remember her name, Zewa, I think that was her name, because, cut back to the lifeboat, the Nublar 6 minus Brooklyn find a family there who has, I think, I can't remember what it's called, it's the ones with the stegomizers on the tail, stag, I can't remember the names, the ones with the plates on their back, they're, like, around the town, they leave those away, but it turns out they were using those dinos to protect from the not Spinosaurus, and they stop they pretty much have to bring them back at one point. They have to fend off this thing until this spiked dinosaurs come back and hit them with the thagomizers, send the guy away, and they're like, oh yeah, you know, you guys are all like family to me now. The Auntie Zibo, I can't remember her name. And also sends her daughter with these strangers, like, yeah, you go upriver and go help with Baba, which we never really get what Baba, her dad is doing. But they ride up the river on little boats. Kenji's kind of acting nuts, and there's also something trailing them inside under the water. It's like, oh shit, what kind of dinosaur is coming up, gonna try to kill them now? They go. the brontosauruses that are in their way is kind of like blocking them, but then suddenly start going, and like, we'll just drive around them, and then they start going crazy, like, what the hell? And it's because underneath the water is the most dangerous thing in all of Africa. Hippos. And I'm like, as soon as I saw the hippo pop up, and I'm like, oh shit. And I love it, like, as Sammy goes, oh, look, it looks cute. Oh shit. And I'm like, correct response. Hippos are, like, lions don't mess with hippos. Other creatures don't mess with hippos. But pretty much, they have to escape the hippos. They start destroying their boat. They eventually go to, like, this girl's uncle's place. But when they go there, they find, like, this first hand of, like, the captain that was on the ship. He's dead. And it's another one of those not Spino's there. And then there's a whole big scuffle. Not Dino, it then starts fighting a hippopotamus, which I'm like, okay, so this is kind of, like, that's the one thing I really like about this, about the animated, Jurassic World animated series, both, Camp Cretaceous and, Chaos Theory, is that I feel like they more, like, use the ideas the movie sets up than the movie does. It's like, oh yeah, I want to see, you know, like the end of like the second movie, I think it was, like, it's like, oh yeah, dinosaurs are now free roaming the world, and like we see like the lion roaring, and then we see it roaring with like a T-Rex roaring at it, and it's like, oh shit, like it's that cool thing, like, and we kind of see that in this. But I will say though, there is kind of like a ginormous flaw in all of Jurassic Park sequels and movies where they're like, we're gonna weaponize the dinosaurs. And like, the biggest flaw is, why don't you do that with regular animals? Like, what, like, at one point, a dinosaur gets killed by, like, a lion, and, like, they didn't have the budget to make a lion model, so, like, the lion's, like, off-screen, just, like, grabs and, like, pulls it off camera. But, like, why don't you, like, and, like, as you say, well, because they're genetically altering these dinosaurs to be more subservient to whatever this and this. And it's like, but couldn't you do that with a lion? I mean, now we just have dire wolves, and we're making our own Jurassic Park, apparently. But, like, like, couldn't you do that with a lion? Like, just, like, make a cloned lion that you can control with different... I don't know. Maybe dinosaurs, you can make them with stronger bodies. I have no idea. In any case, so make a giant dire lion that's, like, you can control. But anyway, so they eventually... those get hit. Yaz almost gets left behind. They have to go back. They learn to listen to the girl who says, hey, don't go into the woods. There's, you know, or don't go into the jungle. There's lions in there. And yeah, but, well, she didn't say there were lions until, like, afterward. And that's when, like, I believe it was Sammy, the Texan girl, who goes, oh, there's lions. And that's why you told me not to go in there. And they're like, yeah. But, yeah, so then they eventually do make it to, like, this radio tower, and they find, and like, oh, well, there's more dinosaurs here, so we must be getting close. That's when you go into the base itself, where we find, the base. We find the base full of, yeah, it's empty, actually. It's completely empty. There's no one there. And then eventually, like, while they're looking around, Ben finds the case of eggs, but then, and Kenji's, like, in, like, the other room, and sees, like, hey, look! And then Brooklyn comes in, and and Kenji listens for, like, a little bit. He's like, what the hell? And Brooklyn's like, I told you not to find me, and to follow me. And then he's like, well, you know, and then Kenji's listening, and like, holy shit, Ben knew! And also, this whole time, Ben has, like, been wanting to tell them, but also debating whether or not he should tell them that Brooklyn's alive, because he didn't have evidence, or, like, I don't know, I feel like you should just said, like, Brooklyn's alive, we have evidence, she told me not to tell you. I honestly do feel like you should have just told him, like, probably would have saved a lot of time, but whatever. But anyways, Brooklyn takes the eggs, and also like at one point Darius, Yaz, Sammy, Summer, and I can't remember her name, Zewa. They all go. They go to like this one thing. It's like a big pit. They accidentally fall in when the captain is getting chased by Red the Raptor. And inside they see a baryonyx. That is a baryonyx. I'm not sure if this is a baryonyx. But they find a baryonyx that has no eyes. And it's just like, I'm thinking like, is this a genetic mutation? Like, is this like the Disastrous Rex that's going to be in the new film that I've heard about? That like, is it like that? And like, kind of is. But like, the doctor there who's like a mad scientist who... Okay, hold on! But, like, the mad doctor, like, he's like, I'm good, like, I fed everyone to my baryonyx because I made it blind so it can be echolocation with snapping, and I will be right back. For you, it'll be no time at all, but... What are you talking about? It's been exactly just a second since look, I even have the same dinosaur. So yeah, he goes, oh my gosh, echolocation, and I can't remember why I was talking about that, but yeah, so they talk about echolocation, Dr. Echolocation, they're like, oh yeah, I did this and created a raptor, or not created, the baryonyx that has this thing, and, oh right, okay, so, like, the last few seasons of, like, Jurassic, the Camp Cretaceous, like, you have stuff like certain new fusions. I'm sure, I don't even know if this is my original talking point, but I'm just gonna go with it. With like, there was a few things about like the new hybrids, like the Scorpius Rex, I think it was, and stuff like that. Or like, you know, they have the freaking things that glow in the dark that we saw in the last one. And this one, I kind of like this one a lot, where it's like, it's kind of a mutation one. Like, it's not a hybrid, but it's a specific version of a dinosaur made to do a certain thing where like it can echolocate, which it went really good because like at one point where the broker sends in like the raptor to fight the baryonyx, like, oh shit, we're gonna see Red die, no! And then you see the doctor go, and then the raptor stops, looks at him, the baryonyx, and it goes. I was like, no! I was like, no, I was like, holy shit! I thought like, oh shit, we're about to see a raptor die, and I'm like, oh no! It's even worse. The raptor learned how to control the baryonyx. And I'm like, holy shit, that was cool! And like, the guard's like, no, listen to me! The scientist said, no, listen to me! And he's like, nope! And points at it, and then the baryonyx turns and starts chasing him. I'm like, oh shit! But, God, that was so good. But, then pretty much I'm trying to remember exactly where I was going with all of this. I can't remember. Did I talk about, Darius and the six without Brooklyn going to, they went to the base, they found whatever. Okay. So, I'm trying to think now. So they go to the base, they see Brooklyn, like, at some point, like, each of them sees, like, Kenji saw Brooklyn in the interrogation room with Ben. Eventually, like, Darius and the others got stuck in, like, that pit, and, like, I guessed it, that Brooklyn maneuvered, like, this crate to come down and pick up everyone. And also, I forgot to mention, the reason why they also chase down the broker in this, or go to the wherever upriver, wherever these dinosaurs are coming from, is not only because of Bumpy's egg and just learning what is, because Bumpy's egg, as well as Geba, who's one of the dinosaurs of like the African family that kind of takes the six minus Brooklyn in, they took like their dinosaur friend Geba. So, and they chase that down. They chase him down. That's one of the reasons they go. They find Geba, they get in the crate. But while they're in the crate, the broker thinks they killed, like, the doctor guy by knocking him into the pit. And, like, and then everyone in the crate's like, holy shit, Brooklyn. And I will say this, again, I liked, it kind of reminded me of the Owl House. Stick with me. Where like Luz figures out, spoilers, that Bellows is Philip, and that Luz kind of helped him pretty much do all this on accident. And because it reminds me of so much of it. It's like, yeah, we, the audience, knows, but then you gotta remember, like, these characters have no idea this entire time that Brooklyn was alive. And for them, she just is now working with the bad guys. So that was kind of cool to like, oh shit, like that's sick. Like okay, like they're like, oh, Brooklyn's alive. Oh my god, and that was legit kind of cool. I just realized both of these have Site B, so these are like, I believe these guys are Jurassic Park 3 figures. Anyways. That's Hammond collection. But, yeah, so then, but pretty much, and also, it's funny too, because Brooklyn, like, it takes like 5 minutes every time she goes somewhere to talk on the phone, to call Ben or the others, to be like, hey, look, I need you guys to get out, even not knowing that, her phone got eaten by a hippopotamus, which is also really funny too, because at one point Ben's like, do you think we could find the phone? And tries calling the phone to hear it ring. And like, you know, the hippo, if it came out the other end, it could find it in a pile of shit, which is actually a Jurassic Park 3 reference, if I remember correctly. So like, I was like, oh, that's a good reference. I'm trying to think, like, yeah, it was Jurassic Park 3. I believe that's where the phone one came from. But yeah. Also, the whatever non-Spino won the hippo versus dinosaur fight. I think I brought that up, right? I can't remember where I'm at with this now. But, yeah, and then, like, the very end, they blow up the broker blows up the lab. Brooklyn goes with her still. And there is a point where, like, everyone kind of catches up to Brooklyn right before she gets on this private jet. The broker sees them all out there. And like, she's like, okay. And she's like readying, like, I guess to send out, the red. But Brooklyn's like, no, like, you know, I'm not the same Brooklyn. You guys have to leave and all this stuff. And they're like, well, but Bumpy's egg. He's like, okay, fine. She gives Bumpy's egg. And then they're doing all this like, in the front of the jet, like in the doorway of the jet. I'm like, you know, she can hear all of this, right? Like those jets are not that big. I've been in them, not as a pilot. I mean, not as a passenger, as someone who, anyways. But so eventually like she does eventually get in the van, and then she goes, any trouble? And goes, and I do like this part too, because it doesn't play like, oh, like she couldn't hear or think she couldn't hear anything. She's like, no, she goes in there. The broker opens the thing and notices one is missing, and Brooklyn goes, they're not going to bother us again. And it's like, okay, shit. Like she just straight said like, yeah, I know you were listening, obviously. And like the Nublar 6 minus Brooklyn watches as Brooklyn and the broker fly off to wherever they're going to be in season 3, which I don't have to wait for because it's already out on Netflix for me. Everyone else who had to wait half a year or so, but yeah. And also then Brooklyn, and then the broker says like, oh, well, you know, I know Brooklyn brings up like every spot that the DLN hit, must have had a lab underneath. The broker's like, yeah, they did. But your low distraction thing helped hide a lot of that stuff. And he goes, oh, okay. And they're like, well, then like, what are you going to do now that all your labs are destroyed? Oh, I found a new place with new bioorganic stuff and all this other stuff. And like, we're like, who? And it's like Biosim. And it's like, oh shit. And she's like, Brooklyn's a Biosim. And it's like, you know, I remember Biosim is the one that is in the third movie that builds the island that's surrounded by snow, which also I freaking see an image on Jurassic Park. Like when you go to season 3 or just the thing, you see Kenji on a snowmobile, I think Garrus on the back, chasing after a feathered raptor. I need to get a figure of the feathered raptor. The feathered raptors are so freaking cool through snow. So I'm like, okay, so I'm guessing that's going to lead into that. I do love how this show does, like, obviously, yeah, there's going to be, like, it's going to lead up to Biosim and all this other stuff. But I do like this one a lot. And again, I liked this one where the mutation is deliberate, and I kind of like that a little bit more. Like hybrids, I still like. I like the idea of hybrids, but I do also think like they have to do more than just a giant raptor. The Disastrous Rex, which is a mutation one, like a failed creation, it looks interesting. I want to get I want to get his figure when that comes out, or her figure when that comes out. But I do like the idea of like them doing mutations for these different things, and like, you know, making them blind, making them blind, so they had learned to use echolocation and heighten those genes, and like I feel like there's a lot of cool things you could do there. Also, the Doctor going crazy, just feeding everyone who worked at that place for his baryonics. I was like, okay. Also, I do also like what they did with this season, because okay, so I brought this up multiple times, so I in case you don't know, CGI takes you a long time, takes like time to model different places. That's why something like it takes time to model different places, and like obviously it's gonna take more money to make certain places more detailed. So that's why a lot of times they reuse places and assets. Like if you ever watch Sonic Boom, like they're in the same spinny canyon like 5 or 6 different times in season 1, probably more. And then also Eggman, where in Sonic X you have like multiple different robots that he summons out like a deck of cards, where in Sonic Boom, like it's like the same robot, maybe colored differently, or it's just the exact same robot but they say it's something else. Like, and that's because, you know, you need to model all of that, and that takes time and all that stuff. Yeah, you can reuse it after it's done, but you still have to remodel it. So that's why in the first season of Chaos Theory, a lot of it takes place on that road, on that country road, on that long highway, or, you know, like places that like they don't need that many different assets. In this one, they use a lot, a lot of the assets for this one. Like obviously you have like this room, you have like the broker's room, which I'm probably is a reuse of something else, maybe even, I'm not sure. The broker's room, and I'm sure probably the one that Brooklyn is across the thing is either just that little hallway that they made, or maybe like it might even be the same thing as the broker's room, but like flipped, but like just with nothing in it. And then but like majority of it's like, okay, we're in like a forest thing, because they have forest assets already, so they could just use, or jungle assets, so they could just use that again. Like they're on a river now, so you know they just need to see on the boat, just river going that way, pretty much fine. And even like the ending where like they're in like this gray lab that just has straight lined hallways, stuff like that, which I'll say, them being straight hallways and just like simplicity like that does make it feel like you don't really know where you're at in this place. It does make you kind of feel like you're in a maze when like eventually like the broker shut off the lights and like put on some guys like, come on Brooklyn, and like takes her by the hand and leads her through. I kind of want to know if the broker is kind of happy to have a partner in crime kind of thing, or someone to train and teach. I kind of want to know if there's a like actually kind of a teacher-student kind of thing that she actually kind of likes, even though Brooklyn 100% is trying to betray her, or maybe she's trying to see if she can switch Brooklyn to her side fully. I don't know. If not, because like I'm just like, you're kind of dumb. I think you would know that she's trying to play you, but yeah. So Brooklyn, but like they shut off the lights and like, you running down the hallways with dinosaurs and shit going around. It's like, oh shit! Like it's real. Like it's very much like, okay, it feels like a maze. Like you don't know exactly where you're gonna go. And even then, like if you think about it, in that facility you have security room, interrogation room, and other than like a regular ass room, which I'm not even gonna count. The security room, interrogation room. Oh, and the pit room where it has also other chambers around it. Like that's like 3 rooms there, and then for the jungle you have the farmhouse, which you don't even go inside. You just the outside of it, the rice fields and stuff like that. And then you have where the kayaks are from, and then maybe like that one papaya stand out there, and like that's kind of it. Like everything else is just kind of forest reused assets for stuff like. And, like I was saying, Sonic Prime. Or like Sonic Boom that had that one. Sonic Prime, it was like, you know, okay, we're in a ocean world, so just water everywhere. Oh, we're in a forest world, so just gonna paste trees everywhere. Like it's CGI does take time, and I honestly think I would say this show used it well, where it didn't feel so much like barren. Because if you really do look at like something like Sonic Prime, this isn't against Sonic Prime. I like Sonic Prime, but even then, you could tell a lot more money went into New York City than it did the most of the other worlds. But like again, Pyro World, just water, simple, easy. The Forest World, just put a bunch of trees everywhere. It really felt like they just randomly put trees everywhere. Not really any thought or process to it, which I guess, yeah, it's a forest, but still, like, this one, it did feel more intentional where everything was being put, everything like that. My biggest gripe would probably be just Brooklyn's hair. I liked her hair before she got her arm bit off. Like, it gave me very much Spider-Gwen vibes. But yeah. Other than that, this is a pretty good season. I'm excited to see where the next one's going to go and see what's going to happen next. But anyways, time machine comments below. Thanks for watching. Share all my videos. Hope you enjoy this, and we will. See you later. No T-Rex actually in this season, which is a surprise. But hey, maybe save it for the next one.